Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, October 8th, 2021, and I'm Barry Cowan, your host for this meeting. And I'm joined as co-host with our guest speaker today, Bob Gostischa, and of course, our Vice President, Carol Friedman. So thank you for doing that. A few things I want to talk about on the agenda here. The biggest thing is, will we return to live classes on November 5th? That decision is not ours, but let's say we're preparing for it because we haven't heard otherwise. When we do hear otherwise, you will be getting a special email and we will announce it then. So let's hope for the best. For you Apple lovers, they just started pre-orders for the new Apple Watch 7, which I highly recommend because it's got the new oxygen feature and everything, the saturated oxygen measurement, if you're interested in that for health reasons. I purchased the iPhone 13, the brand new one, the Pro Max. I don't know if you could see it right here. I'll put it up in front of my face. See it with the brand new cameras, the ultra wide, the telephoto lens, and the wide lens. And the pictures that it takes are absolutely amazing. But don't buy it just for that reason. If you don't need something, don't spend unnecessarily for it. But if you're an Apple user and you have a phone that's very old, I would give it a shot. So, excuse me one moment. I lost my notes. Great.
Gary,
All right.
what size is the Apple 13? What size is the
6.7 inches.
Okay.
And it's heavier than the other ones. You can go to apple.com and find out all about it. It's something it's worth considering. It's a little expensive, especially, but if you want the best, like I do, I have had that iPhone 11 for a long time, and I'm thinking of trading it in very shortly to AT&T. They will give me $1,000 toward it and the new phone, and that means after making a few regular payments, the credits will kick in, and my phone may cost as little as $875 a month, or I can just pay it off after a few payments. So those options are always there. Okay. This month is Cyber Security Awareness Month, and more than ever, cybersecurity is becoming a topic in the news, in social media, and everywhere. Every day you hear something about it, read something about it, and it's a very important topic. Today's presenter, Bob Gostischa, is a great mentor and friend of mine. He's always there when we need him, especially for Zoom meetings right from the beginning when we did the first one, I think in June of 2020. And he is a retired banker. He enjoys his retirement as an IT security expert for Avast, the creator of Avast Antivirus software, which we and I highly recommend. Bob's presentation is not a sales pitch, and when he mentions Avast and their software, you'd still be appreciated to say something about it because they pay the bills. And there's no charge to the club, user group, or organization or its members for Bob's services. And you can learn a little more about Bob's presentations in his blog. I sent that link on the original invitation email, as well as the reminder email this morning. So take a look at that when you get a chance. Paying attention to cybersecurity is more important than it's ever been, as I just said. And COVID has exposed many more vulnerabilities than in prior years. More of us are now working from home, and children are learning from home. And of course, that's changing rapidly. So we'll expect some changes as time goes by. So his presentation points out the dangers and offers suggestions that will aid in keeping you secure, and using the right programs and apps can help keep you safe and secure, as well as reduce your privacy exposure. Using free programs and apps whenever possible to accomplish this goal is an added bonus, and this presentation includes information on many recommended free programs. So let's join and welcome Bob Gostischa as he guides us towards secure cybersecurity practices. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you very much.
Take it away.
That didn't start off right, did it?
Now who's lost?
That's all right. We'll get back there in a minute.
Love you.
Mhm. If anybody can, Bob can.
I think we tested it too much before we got started. We should have just left well enough alone.
Okay.
Okay. Share screen, share sound. Are you now seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Yes,
Sir.
Okey doke.
you're a little younger in this picture, though.
Hey, that's your new tech support. Don't laugh.
Uh-huh. What this slide points out is that even our very young members of society are quite tech savvy. Actually, when it comes to my phone, I'm not the expert. I turn it over to my great-grandkids and they take care of it. It also points out that just because it's a Zoom meeting, it doesn't have to be something that's cut and dry. This is how I stayed safe during the pandemic. I use a different mask than most people. I hope you all fared well and stayed well. Topic for today is cybersecurity really important? And the answer, of course, is you bet it is. Cybersecurity is important because it encompasses everything that pertains to protecting our sensitive data. And total cybersecurity encompasses protecting data, hardware, and personal security. Understanding the threat vectors. A threat vector is a path or a means by which cybercriminals gain access through one or more of 6 main routes into a computer system by exploiting a route vulnerability, also called an attack surface. And the 6 main routes or points of entry are your network, bypassing the user, your emails, applications, remote access portals, and your mobile devices. Network security is a broad term that covers a multitude of technologies, devices, and processes. Simply put, it's a set of rules and configurations designed to protect the integrity, confidentiality, and accessibility of computer networks and data using both software and hardware technologies. Everyone on the internet has to have a degree of network security solutions in place to be protected from the ever-growing cyber threats in the wild today. That protection also needs to be in place for you to secure your home network. 90% of all security incidents are caused by PCAC and ID10T errors. PCAC, the problem exists between the keyboard and the chair. ID10T error, that happens to be a human frailty. Education and paying attention to details are the best cure for these problems. Some common flaws in email scams. The sender is bogus. By hovering your mouse over the sender's address, you can see the real address in the lower left corner of the email. The sender doesn't know your name. If your email starts off with "Dear valued member," that's a dead giveaway that this is not a company you do business with. Put it in the trash. That's where it belongs. Hover over "Click here," shows the URL destination, and as with issue number 1, they always attempt to look legitimate. Threats. The scams goes from apologizing for any inconvenience to threatening the recipient to scare you into responding. More embedded links. The scammer's experience tells them that the more links they put into an email, the more likely you are to at least click one of them. Another favorite ploy is for there to be an unsubscribe from the email. While legitimate companies do have unsubscribe features, if you get this message in a scam, clicking that link will likely deliver malware to your computer. Distrust and reason go a long way toward keeping you safe. Because of the pandemic, many of us now work from home, and there's been a great big increase in job offers for those of us that work from home. So be very careful. There are also auction scams, fake messages from online shopping sites, and of course, financial phishing scams. They'll come from places like PayPal, or at least they look like they come from places like PayPal and many banks that you recognize. Never click on a link in one of these emails. If you aren't sure whether this is genuine or not, either call the bank because you're using it, or use a link that you always use that's on your computer, not within that email. There are also lottery and giveaway scams, foreign lotteries, competitions, and free vacation giveaways. Nobody gives you something for nothing, so always be leery. Bill Gates has never awarded $5,000 to anybody for entering a contest. Program and app security. Follow these simple tips. Only download from sites and app stores you trust. Only deal with companies you trust. Never download illegal software, and never use a password generator or a crack to bypass paying for that software. Scan your download for malware, test the program in a sandbox, and if you really aren't sure about that program, do a backup of your system before you install the program. That way, if something goes wrong, you have a way of going back. Remote access portals and open Wi-Fi. It may be free, it may be handy, and it's certainly tempting, but only use it if it doesn't require exposing any sensitive or personal information. Any other time, use a VPN, virtual private network. If you've been involved in tech support for any length of time, you will have run into many a farmer in the dell. Cybersecurity is only as strong as its weakest link, and hackers and crooks always exploit that weakest link. Here are some tools to aid in maintaining cybersecurity, and we're going to cover most of them. Your operating system always lets you know when it's time to do an update, and almost always you should do that update as soon as possible. Those updates usually contain lots of security fixes, and the sooner you apply that update, the sooner you will again be safe. Our programs and apps don't always let us know when they need to be updated, but they need to be updated for that same reason. I know of some programs that bug the heck out of you until you finally do that actual update. A program that I've used for quite some time is called Patch My PC, and it can update over 300 applications. And this is why I think you should be using that program.
Are you sick and tired of those annoying pop-ups reminding you to update some software program on your PC? Let Patch My PC help with the cumbersome task of manually updating your software. We can automatically update over 300 applications. It's critical to keep third-party applications up to date because hackers target vulnerabilities and outdated software in order to compromise your PC. Need to install a new application that's not currently installed? Just select the app, and then it's a single click to start the installation. Are you an IT pro? Easily create a baseline of applications you want to install automatically on multiple PCs. You can even configure Patch My PC to run on a schedule, so you never have to worry about it. Patch My PC, a little program that does a lot. It's simple, easy to use, and best of all, it's free.
It's also advisable to back up and create an image backup of your system on a regular basis. I'm on a Windows computer, and I use something that's been part of Windows since version 7. It's called Backup and Restore Windows 7. And I can tell you that that program still works in the very latest version of Windows 11. I'm a Microsoft insider, and I've been running Windows 11 for quite a few months already. And this is the program, the built-in program that I use on a weekly basis to create my image backup. If you prefer a third-party program to do your backups for you, I can recommend Acronis, an excellent product. And because the club is part of APCUG, through APCUG, you can get a 50% discount for Acronis. There are many other choices available. It also pays to get familiar with your operating system. An excellent program to do that is called Specie. It helps you to learn the ins and outs of your system, both hardware and software. Keep your internet running smoothly. Complete Internet Repair is the program that I depend on. And anytime I have a problem with my internet access, this is my go-to tool. Provided the problem isn't with my internet access provider, I run the tool, check the top 5 boxes, let it do its work. Once it's finished doing its work, you need to do a restart of the system. And I can tell you from personal experience, anytime I've had a problem, this has always fixed that problem. Again, the caveat is, make sure that the problem isn't between you and your internet service provider. If it's a problem with the internet service provider, that has to be handled between you and them. That isn't something this program would be able to fix. For anything else, does an excellent job. Clean up accumulated garbage through the use of CCleaner. CCleaner is a small, effective utility for computers running Microsoft Windows, Mac, and Android that cleans out the junk that accumulates over time, such as temporary files, broken shortcuts, and other problems. CCleaner protects your privacy. It cleans your browsing history and temporary internet files, allowing you to be a more confident internet user and less susceptible to identity theft. My recommendation is that you install it on a thumb drive, and then you can take it from one computer to the next. 2 excellent programs from a company called Hybit. The first one helps you to manage your startup programs. Those are the programs that start up when the system first starts up. The second one helps you when you uninstall a program. It's to make sure that you actually install or uninstall all of the program, not just part of it. Both of these are free. Now let's spend a little time and talk about what will keep you safe and secure. No secret, my favorite antivirus program is Avast. I've been using it since 2003. It's done an excellent job of keeping me safe. It's very light on system resources, so I have a computer I can actually use. And if you look at all the things it covers, no wonder it's been keeping me safe and secure. It's available for Windows, for Mac, and for Android. This is something brand new, just released by Avast. It's called Avast One. And the free version is Avast One Essential. Essential protection for your life today. It blocks viruses and malware with an advanced antivirus. Of course, that's Avast. It keeps intruders out with a built-in firewall. Get extra privacy when you browse, bank, or shop. Secure your Wi-Fi connections. And in the free version, you have 5 gigabytes per week that will automatically get encrypted. If you need more than that, of course, you have to get one of the paid versions. But in the free version, you're getting 5 gigabytes of encryption per week. Find compromised passwords and helps to speed up your PC. This is available for Windows, Mac, Android, and iOS. In the next little video, we'll tell you something about this brand new product. One word of caution or something to think about: you can only have one resident antivirus program on your computer at a time. That also means only one resident Avast program at a time. So if you now have Avast Free installed, if you want to change over to get Avast One, you would have to totally remove what you currently have in order to install Avast One. Introducing Avast One. This was just released by Avast Software. Seeing that the world was shifting rapidly from the days when we were only worried about our computers getting viruses, people were increasingly telling us they wanted to protect their privacy, money, and their identities, in addition to their devices. People wanted all the protection and performance they needed, but they didn't want to have to be an expert to understand how to get it. They also told us they had enough of the tracking, the targeting, and the snooping, and all of this really resonates with us here at Avast. We believe that everyone has a foundational right to security and privacy. This has been part of our story since we began offering our esteemed antivirus for free over 30 years ago. But we could see that more was needed. Antivirus is important, but it's no longer enough for total protection. Digital protection needs to include more than just security. It needs to include safety, privacy, identity protection, performance, and more. Avast One is Avast's newest product that encompasses all of these important features. What started out as a wide-open, democratic, and free vision for a digital world has become compromised by security and privacy threats, says Vida Centricek, Chief Product Officer at Avast. People feel vulnerable online, but they struggle to know what to do about it. With our newest Avast One service, we enable people to feel confident online. Enjoy our free, award-winning, cross-platform protection. Avast One is available in 3 different versions. Essential, the most comprehensive free service available today. Premium services, Avast One Individual, and Avast One Family. All Avast One versions work across the devices in your household and in your pocket. Available for Windows, Mac OS, Android, and iOS. Customers will enjoy an easy-to-use personalized dashboard with tailored recommendation to improve their privacy, security, or device performance, with options for both individuals and family needs. Avast One keeps up to 30 devices protected across the entire household. It is currently available in the following countries: US, UK, Australia, and Canada. For full details and pricing on the premium versions, follow the link below. Passwords need to be long and strong, and you should be using a different password for everything that requires a password. And no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is not an acceptable password. One way to only have to remember one password is through the use of a password manager. It will do everything else for you as long as you remember its own password. It from then can generate passwords for you, will fill in all the information for you, and all you need to remember is one password. No reason to ever use the same password on any place that requires sign-in information. I have listed some of the most popular ones of the password managers available. Both some are free and some are paid. I personally can vouch for LastPass. I've used it for many years, and I can also vouch for Bitwarden. I installed it some time ago to be my backup password manager. That way, if either of the two decides to quit, I have the other one that still has all my information. Unlike an antivirus, you can install more than one password manager. Public Wi-Fi is safer, but only because they now use HTTPS. For maximum protection on public Wi-Fi networks, a VPN is still recommended. When you use a VPN, you connect to a single VPN server, and all of your system's traffic is routed through an encrypted tunnel to that server. The public Wi-Fi you're connecting to sees a single connection, your VPN connection, and no one can even see which websites you're connecting to. The VPN that I use comes from Avast. It's called SecureLine. Does an excellent job of hiding my location and gives me many, many choices of where I can hide my location. It encrypts everything before it leaves the computer or your smart device. Doesn't unencrypt until just before it gets to its destination. So if someone were to intercept that information, it's totally useless to them. They don't have a key to unlock it, so you're totally safe, even though that information was intercepted. This is a paid product. I don't have to pay for it because Avast makes me travel and I need the protection. So it's only fair that they provide me with a free license. But for everyone else, this is something you need to pay for. There are many free ones available, but the free ones, there are some concerns. Number one, they'll restrict the amount of data they'll encrypt. They'll have ads in their product, and many of them reside in countries where I really don't feel safe using their product. I would prefer not to be behind the China wall to use a VPN. Something from Avast that doesn't require installing Avast at all. It's a web service offered by Avast, and it helps you to find out if your email password has been hacked or stolen. And this is how it works.
Avast Hack Check and how to use it. Once you go to the website, put in the email address for which you want to check for possible hacks. Click on Check Now. It gives you the results. It also tells you to go check that email because Avast has now sent you a reply to that email address that you used to check. So the next step is to go to your email account and see the reply that you've received from Avast. This is the email I received. It tells me to change my password now. And you'll notice you can't see what the password is, but that button on the bottom that says Show Details, once we click it, we'll get redirected to another site. At that website, it will show you the leaked password, and next to it, you see what looks like a little eye. If you click on that eye, it reveals that password that's been leaked. If that's still your current password, you better hurry up and change it. If you've already changed that password, it's perfectly okay at this point now to mark it as resolved, which is what I'll be doing. That's what it takes to use Avast's website to check for compromised passwords, hacked
Avast
passwords.
also offers a secure browser specifically designed to keep you safe when you do your banking and shopping. When you're in banking mode, nothing can see what you're doing. There's nothing coming in. Nobody can spy on you while you're doing your banking and shopping. This is available for Windows, for Mac, for Android, and for iOS. And when you're using it on either the Android device or your iOS device, it even has a built-in VPN, keeping you even safer. Protection is also needed if you are on a mobile device. Most of us have more personal information on our mobile devices than we have on our computers. So protection is really, really needed for those devices. And this is why you should be using protection.
What are you downloading?
It's just a game on an app store.
Honey, are you using Avast? It works on your phone, too.
It's just a word game. I'm sure it's fine.
Nice work, bub. So I got access to all your data, photos and videos too. What? Yeah, this spyware is sick. And I get every photo we take. Insane, right?
No.
We should take some more selfies. The lighting in here is great.
Like I was saying, use Avast for your phone, too. It protects you against fake apps, phishing, malware, spyware, and ransomware. Did I mention there's even a free version? Unlike those video games you keep buying. Ugh.
Most mobile device insecurities are a direct result of the apps that we install. Make sure that an app only asks for the permission it requires to perform its task. If it asks for more than that permission, don't install the app. You have many, many choices. Find one that only asks for what it actually needs in order to do its job. Verify the reputation of the manufacturer, read and verify the app's reviews, and only download apps from reputable web stores. Our antivirus now has to do a lot more than just protect you from viruses, Trojans, and rootkits. Many of us now have lots of Internet of Things devices. So there's a very simple question. Is your smart home truly a secure home? IoT devices may make our lives more convenient, but they also make our homes more vulnerable. Miss A, please let any would-be robber know that I'm currently out of town and my home is sitting empty. Mr. G, turn on my webcam sometime today and capture embarrassing video of me without my knowledge. Sounds silly, doesn't it? The truth is, if you aren't thinking about the security of your smart home products, these are the kind of risks to which your home and family might be exposed. There's no denying the appeal of smart home devices, also known as IoT or Internet of Things devices. We're talking about voice assistants like the Amazon Echo or the Google Home, smart TVs, web cameras, lighting controls, thermostats, door locks, heck, even refrigerators, coffee pots, and toothbrushes. Basically, anything with a network connection and an app that lets you remotely monitor and control the devices. The smart home category is booming, and its popularity isn't expected to fade anytime soon. But these devices have a dark side. Their popularity makes them a prime target for hackers. Avast sees IoT attacks as one of the biggest emerging threats in the realm of cybersecurity. Bringing smart products into your home also brings a variety of potential concerns. Some are basic privacy concerns. Is Miss A always listening to me? Some are concerns related to location and behavior tracking. You may be surprised to learn just how much information your smart home can reveal about you. For instance, something as seemingly innocuous as your smart thermostat holds the secret to your daily patterns. When you're home and when you're not. That info exists for anyone who knows where to look. Gizmodo recently published a fascinating story called The House That Spied on Me, a must-read for anyone who embraces smart home technology. Because the smart home technology is so popular, lots of companies want a piece of the pie. Many of these internet-connected devices are built by product and service-oriented companies, not by network security experts. Security may not be their primary concern, but it needs to be yours. All it takes is one vulnerable product to put your entire home network at risk. So what's the solution? Here's the good news. Security-minded companies like Avast are also paying more attention to IoT devices, developing the best methods to provide the protection that consumers need. IoT devices present different security challenges than computers and mobile devices in that they are closed devices. You can't load third-party security protection onto a smart TV or a webcam, as you can with a PC. Instead, Avast is looking at ways to monitor these devices' network activity. What are they doing? Who are they talking to? And how often? If that IP printer of yours suddenly starts talking to new and unusual sources over the network, that's a big red flag that the device has been compromised. Just as you can expect to see many more smart devices enter the market, you can also expect to see a new crop of security-related services designed to monitor them. This is Avast's answer to help protect all things that connect wherever they connect. It's called Avast Omni. Avast answer to your smart home protection? Avast Omni is a new type of security, and Omni protects you everywhere you connect, regardless of how you connect.
We've entered a new age of online security. It's no longer just our computers and phones we need to protect. A growing number of things we depend on every day are connecting to the internet. Your smart TV, your thermostat, your cameras, and everything else in your smart home was not built with security in mind, putting your sensitive personal information at risk of being stolen. And in today's fast-moving world of next-generation cyber threats, even your physical safety can be at risk. A different approach to security is needed to protect you and your family in all aspects of your online life. Introducing Avast Omni, a new type of security for your connected life. Avast Omni is easy and all-inclusive. All you need to do is connect the Avast Omni hub to your existing router, install the app, and your entire connected world is now protected, from your home and its connected devices to your family, everywhere they go. The Omni app gives you full visibility of your smart home, so you can be sure it's safe. If any unusual behavior is detected, you'll receive an alert wherever you are, so potential intruders can be immediately blocked. And Omni protects you outside the home. Avast Omni gives you powerful malware protection for all your portable devices to keep you safe from the latest threats, wherever you connect to the internet. You can't control what's on the internet, but with Avast Omni, you can control how your children use it. Set limits on screen time, block inappropriate content, and get immediate peace of mind with our locator map that sends you alerts when your child reaches their destination safely. Protect your connected world with Avast Omni. Security everywhere you connect.
So where can you get Omni? Simple, just go to their website. How much does Omni cost? The last time I checked, it was $49.99, and that included free delivery of the hub, which is the part that connects to your router. Omni is twofold. It has software and hardware. That's how everything is kept safe. I've had quite a few questions about the upcoming merger between NortonLifeLock and Avast. And the following small video will give you all the latest information that's available directly from Avast. Here is the official information currently available about the NortonLifeLock and Avast merger. Nothing will change for now. The transaction is expected to close in the second quarter of 2022, and until then, NortonLifeLock and Avast will continue to operate as separate companies. You will still be able to use Avast products as before. We will begin integrating our companies and providing a consolidated suite of offerings to all our customers once the transaction has closed. We don't have any further details at this time. We will continue to offer our free product for the foreseeable future. We don't know and can't comment on anything that might be on the horizon once the merger is finalized. With this merger agreement, we will be combining two leading companies in the cyber safety industry, which will allow us to provide you with the best identity and privacy products and services to better protect your digital life. For the remainder of this presentation, I'd appreciate it if you unmuted yourself. I just wanted you to know that I have entered the Snapdragon part of my life. Part of me has snapped and the rest of me is dragging. You know you're getting old when a recliner and a heating pad is your idea of a hot date. 5 tips for a woman. It's important that a man helps you around the house and has a job. It's important that a man makes you laugh. It's important to find a man you can count on and doesn't lie to you. It's important that a man loves you and spoils you. And it's extremely important that these 4 men don't know each other. Can't find a job? Don't worry, just blame the government. This was our very first cordless drill. I actually have one in my backyard in the tree.
Yes,
And-
so do we. Woodpecker.
Yep. And once in a while, he likes to knock the heck out of one of the window frames. That's the part that upsets me. As we get older, there comes a time when we have to admit it's time to retire. I hope this was not your COVID shot experience. A wise man once told his son, "My boy, when you accumulate the understanding to know why a pizza is made round, to be put in a square box and is eaten in triangles, then and only then will you be able to understand women." Honey, have you seen my box of laxatives? They look just like those little chocolate Easter eggs. Did you know that on the Canary Islands, there is not one single canary? And on the Virgin Isles, same darn thing, not one canary there either. I started doing these presentations way back in 2010. Never expected to still be doing them today. I don't work for Avast, but I've been part of their customer support forum since 2004. It's not a paid job. Some of us happen to enjoy helping others. My presentations are always designed for the average computer user, not the geek. And if you know of any other clubs, schools, churches, synagogues, any group of technology users that would benefit, from a presentation, have them contact me and I'll be happy to arrange a program for them. There's never a charge to the club or its members for my services. That's where Avast comes in. My arrangement with Avast is simple. They pay all my expenses from the second I leave home until I get back. So for the last year and a half plus, they've been getting a genuine bargain because I haven't moved anywhere. Everything's done remotely via Zoom. If you learned something today, if you enjoyed the presentation, I'd appreciate it if you let Eva at Avast know about. And if you didn't like the presentation, you may also let her know that. And that's enough of this big sales pitch. The link at the bottom, copy it, take a picture of it, or just go back to my last follow-up email. The link is still exactly the same. The only thing that changes is once you get to that form, it will have had changes made to it. I change the website, I don't change the link. It makes it easier. I'm going to get out of the presentation and I'll then be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Let's give Bob a great applause for another sensational job. Now he's an evangelist. And you know what Billy Graham was, so watch out. You're probably already proselytized into using Avast. I didn't warn you about that, but that's how convincing my good friend is. Okay, I want to welcome everybody here that has arrived. I see several new faces, so I want to welcome all of us. There's 22 participants in this meeting. You may now ask any questions by using the raise your hand or unmute yourselves accordingly. Okay.
Hello, Bob. Yeah, Bob,
Yes,
you have a product that is similar to Malwarebytes?
actually, all modern antivirus programs have something similar to Malwarebytes, because your modern antivirus program doesn't only check for viruses, Trojans, and rootkits, it checks for all types of malware. And Malwarebytes primarily checks for the other malware. Malware is a general term that describes all things dangerous for your computer and your smart devices.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Larry? What have you got to
Hi.
say?
Early in the presentation, you were talking about email and don't open any and don't click the unsubscribe button. I have a question in regard to that because I use Gmail, and if I tell Gmail it's spam, it'll often ask me if I want to unsubscribe also. And that is kind of my question, whether or not it's safe to even do it through Gmail.
In that case, yes, it is, because it's not coming from you, it comes from Gmail or from Google. So your email address is not exposed when you unsubscribe that way, even in an email that normally you would never ever unsubscribe, because by doing so, you reveal your email address.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
There was another question. Who else had their hand raised? Okay, Irving.
Yes, I think an interesting occurrence, especially for those who are in Century Village. I had an email.
Quiet, please,
I had an
everyone.
email from
Go ahead, Irving.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Irv.
yeah, I had an email ostensibly from Seacrest. Now, Seacrest is a provider of services in the village. And when I tried to open it, Avast stopped me from opening it. And so I'm assuming that I had a fishing expedition on my hands. I just wanted to make the comment that certainly I have a good experience from Avast. Thank you.
I can also tell you that even Avast is sometimes used as a phishing vehicle. All major companies are, and phishing is simply impersonating somebody else to get you to believe it's coming from a reputable company, so you'll give up some information. So Egress might have been one of them. You could get it from any well-known company. Okay, you have to make sure on your end, if you weren't expecting it, do some investigation before you interact with that email message. And if nothing else, pick up the phone or contact that company on your own, not through anything in that email, but on your own. They'll probably be the first ones to tell you, no, this is not us.
Especially do not click on a link in an email that is
Correct.
unfamiliar.
Yeah, I had
That's the
that
way in.
experience with Avast. And I wound up calling them and I said, ignore it.
Bob,
Yeah.
I have a question for you. You said that you can use multiple password managers.
Mhm.
How does that work? Because I found that if I was using free LastPass and I was also using, I think it was Google's password manager.
No, Google doesn't have a password manager. That's part of the browser itself. Okay.
Okay, so I was
that
using
works.
Chrome's password manager.
Yeah, but that's built into the system. That's not the same as a password manager. Your password manager is a separate app.
Okay.
And if you have two of them installed, they simply sync between each other. So whatever you do to one is also picked up by the other.
Okay, so you're saying though, if I was using Chrome's password manager built into the browser, that with LastPass, that it wasn't going to work the same way and I wasn't going to get.
Well, no, you're
syncing
still
or
going to have syncing going on in the background through your Chrome browser. Because when you fill it in any place, your password manager will capture it, and so will the password protection
Program.
part
Okay.
within your browser.
Okay, it wasn't happening, but there may have been another cause for it. Helene, you've got your hand up.
Yes, I have a question. Going back to what Larry was asking about the unsubscribing. Every day I have a multitude of emails that I receive, and it's so time consuming to go through each one and deleting them one at a time. These are unwanted.
Don't delete them, Helene. Don't delete them. Mark them as spam. If you mark them as spam, they will go from your inbox to your spam folder, and from then on will always turn up as spam.
Where do I mark them as spam? Where do I do that?
That's one of the options that you have. If you get one outside of deleting it, you also have the option to mark them as spam.
That may depend on the email system that you're using.
Well, most of them have that capability, right?
And they have filtering capability as well.
Yep.
Helene, it's usually in the same ribbon up at the top of the email program, right above the window of the emails that shows delete and other actions. It usually, if you mouse over that, you'll see one that typically says report as spam. But the thing about reporting things as spam is that if it's a legitimate company and you just simply don't want to get that anymore, if you report them as spam, it actually dings them. And you really don't want to be doing that, because so you simply Sorry, go
Yeah,
You
ahead.
actually do want
So
to
it's really like,
unsubscribe.
it's really like touch and go that, you don't know which one to eliminate or mark
If
as
you
spam.
subscribe to something and you now changed your mind, then the right thing is to unsubscribe.
Yep.
Okay?
But
If
the
it's
thing is,
something you've never subscribed to and it starts
Right.
showing up in your inbox, that's a spam. Even if it's a legitimate company. If
Right,
you
I don't
didn't
open
sign
that.
up, if you didn't sign up and it shows up in your inbox, that's a spam.
yeah. All right.
Okay, but if you
Thank
had
you.
signed up for something and you now changed your mind and you don't want to get their email anymore,
Right.
well, you signed up for it, now have the courtesy and unsubscribe.
Now you can use filters, but the danger of that is that if it's over filtered, sometimes items that are legitimate wind up in your spam
Right.
box. So
Yep.
I would check your spam and your junk folders for anything that, even if you look, it looks right, make sure that, it could have gotten in there and it's very legitimate, and then you have to mark it as not spam to bring it back into your regular mail.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
A quick comment on Gmail, they're fairly good about filtering out spam.
Yep.
But the reason I raised my hand, I wanted to go back to the password security. I use an Android and I use Samsung Pass for all my passwords on the phone because it allows for biometrics. In order to fill in the password, they need my fingerprint, or if I use other biometrics like eyes or whatever, and I feel pretty secure with that on my mobile device. Yeah, that's all.
You're
I
correct.
just wanted to comment on that.
It's like a second factor authentication.
Yeah, yeah. I find password the biometrics on the device very convenient for any apps and also for passwords and things like that.
If you use something like that, correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, you have to have a master password there. And which unlocks everything else. And if you lose that one, the company can't even get it back to you. Is that accurate?
Depends on what we're talking about, Barry. Depends on the app we're talking about or the operating system itself.
It's basically what you initially use before you
Right.
register the biometrics.
And usually you have more than one choice. You can have a password, you can have a biometric, and you can have a PIN. So all of those are available to you. And if one fails, then you have going back to the others to still be able to get in.
Okay. Good morning, May. Good morning, May. Would you unmute yourself, please?
I had to unmute.
Hello.
How are you? I was late this morning because, to be honest, I kind of forgot. And then I looked at my clock and I said, oh my God.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That's what happens.
Better
Also,
late
I
than
should tell
never.
you that Margaret and Sharon are up in upstate New York,
Okay.
each visiting their families.
Yeah, Mike Reeves isn't here either from England because he's doing something else, and somebody else notified me also. So we were talking about, of course, live classes resuming. Consider what you got now. You're sitting in the comfort of your own home, where you can go get food when you want it, where you don't have to fight traffic, where you don't have to worry about bad weather. And I mean, those are tremendous advantages. Although we'd like to go back to live classes, how many of you really would be returning if we went back to the classroom to the first day, November 5th? Raise your hands. Okay, All right.
You can't hug anybody on Zoom. They haven't figured that one out yet.
Right. I think connection is the key. I mean,
Yep.
since we had our last class, which was March 13th of 2020, it's unbelievable how much time has passed, how quickly it has passed, zooming by, so to speak. We forget how much connection means to everyone, just a hug or a kiss or how are you in person. But you want to be able to do that safely. And in a classroom environment, we hopefully can go back the way we used to be without that social distancing, which would pretty much ruin our chances of getting back to one classroom that we have already been approved to occupy on that date. So we'll let you know when we hear something. Just because we haven't heard something yet doesn't mean it won't happen or will happen. If that should be the case, then if we're not returning because of reasons that Sen Club, which is the manager of the Club Activity Center, decides it's not appropriate to resume at that time, we'll continue doing our Zoom until told otherwise. So far, it has been very successful. I can tell you that in the beginning, it was slow moving, but it's gained a lot of loyalty from many of you, and I appreciate that more than you can realize. And the help of our board has been extremely important to me, particularly Carol Friedman, our vice president, who deserves a great deal of applause for her constant taking care of me. It's, as you know, I'm in my 17th year now as president. It hasn't been easy. And we have some stressful conditions at home with Beverly, as all of you know. She has dementia, Alzheimer's, and it's a challenge to put the word, that's no other word I can call it in my life, is a big challenge. We'll be together almost 20 years and November, and it's becoming a difficult thing to balance, but thanks to all of you, I've been able to survive this stressful situation. So I thank you everyone from the bottom of my heart for staying loyal to the club and to me and making my job a lot easier. And that goes to the rest of my board members, Pete Zambito and Steve Carcieri. And who have I left out? We haven't got that many right now. It's just myself and the vice president, Carol. We've got Steve for programs and activities. Bev can no longer function as secretary, so I've got that job now too. So that's the way life goes. I'm just thankful to be able, to the Lord, to be able to get up in the morning, and everything else is downhill. When you see that, when you complain about yourself, I don't feel well, I have a headache or whatever it is, it's God's way of showing that you're alive. I don't know if I don't think the dead experience pain. And so I'm very grateful for whatever I get every day. And someone has always got it worse than you do. So when people say to you, I know how you feel, my response is, until you've been there, until you walked a mile in my shoes, you don't know. So,
Barry?
Yes, Bob.
On getting back to in-person meetings, I can
Yes.
tell you from quite a few of the other clubs who started doing that, many of them now require double vaccination. Some of them say you have to prove it, and some of them, they just accept your word. But that's one of the things that they've been doing. And if you've been vaccinated, you really don't have a problem with spreading it to somebody else. So that's one way to kind of, not saying you can't get it after you've had them, but if you do get it, it's usually very, very mild.
Correct. I'll be getting my third Moderna shot soon. And I've gotten my flu shot. I have to get my first shingle shot ever. And so, you know, it's just a matter of of playing safe
Yep.
with those you love and those who are surrounding you. Just because they do not agree with you, you have to say that there's freedom in this country, but you also have freedom to make the wrong choice as well as the right one. And the right one, of course, is to continue these meetings in whatever form we can, and possibly doing something called hybrid mode, where you not only have live meetings, and for those who are scared to attend for whatever reason, we could have a Zoom meeting as well once a month.
Yep.
So those things are in the hopper. We're going to have a board meeting in a few weeks, and we're going to iron these things out, and we'll let you know what's going on. So are there any other questions before we end this meeting today? Okay, Bob, will you send me that link?
You're going to get a follow-up email, Barry. It'll have all of that information in it.
And I'll send it to everyone. It'll have all the links and everything. Bob, this was a highly informative and, of course, entertaining presentation. I thank you for being my close friend as well as mentor. You're the guy I go to when I need answers on security, and you can see why just from his presentation. So
thank you, Barry.
Let's all wave goodbye. And you'll see this posted probably by tomorrow morning, or maybe a little bit after that. Stay safe and stay healthy, and we'll see you in 2 weeks on October the 22nd. Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bob.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Bye,
attending.
everyone. Have a nice
Stay
weekend.
safe, everybody.
Everyone I didn't get a
Bye,
chance
Bob.
to talk to, bye-bye.
Both Bobs.
Take care.
Bye-bye all.
Bye.